Right now, millions of people in the US have ready meals in their freezer that are closer to industrial products than real food. Some of them are built from restructured meat, chemical binders, and lab-designed flavor systems that would never exist in a home kitchen. We examined what is actually inside some of the most popular ready meals sold in American grocery stores. What we found completely changes how those freezer aisles look. Once you see what sits at the very bottom of this list, the freezer aisle won't look the same. 12. Ultra cheap. Frozen dinners. Walk into any Walmart, Kroger, or budget grocery store and you will find them stacked high in the freezer aisle. Those $1.99 frozen dinners from brands like Banquet and Great Value that promise a full meal for pocket change. But here is what that bargain price is actually buying you. The Banquet Salisbury steak meal contains mechanically separated chicken as a primary ingredient despite being called steak. That means you are eating a slurry of tendons, bones, and tissue that has been processed into something that vaguely resembles meat. One tray delivers 1,340 milligrams of sodium, which is more than half your recommended daily intake before you have even finished breakfast. These meals are engineered for one purpose: survival on a shelf. The ingredient lists stretch past 30 items, including modified food starch, sodium phosphate, caramel color, and autolyzed yeast extract, which is essentially hidden MSG. The portions shrink dramatically after heating because much of what you paid for was water weight injected during processing. Former employees and food scientists have confirmed that these meals prioritize reheating consistency over nutrition. They are designed to look acceptable after microwaving, not to nourish your body. And while the calorie count might seem modest at around 300, the fiber content sits at a measly 2 grams and the protein quality is questionable at best. For the price of 2 of these trays, you could buy a pound of real chicken and actually know what you are eating. These ultra-cheap dinners are not a deal. They are a nutritional trap dressed up in convenient packaging. 11. Healthy microwave bowls. The words light, fresh, and balanced printed across the packaging make these bowls feel like smart choices. Brands like Lean Cuisine and Healthy Choice dominate this category, promising guilt-free meals under 400 calories. But flip that box over and the story changes fast. The Lean Cuisine. Glazed turkey tenderloins contains 24 grams of sugar, nearly matching a full-size candy bar. That sweetness is not coming from vegetables, it is coming from glazes, syrups, and flavor systems designed to make bland ingredients taste like something worth eating. Many of these bowls advertise vegetable content, but deliver shockingly little. You might see a few scattered pieces of broccoli or a handful of corn kernels, but the bulk of the tray is refined pasta, white rice, or processed protein sitting in sauce. Fiber counts regularly land at just 2 or 3 grams, nowhere near enough to keep you satisfied. The sodium situation is equally concerning. The Healthy Choice sweet and sour chicken packs over 600 milligrams of sodium and more than 20 grams of sugar in a single serving. That is not a healthy choice by any reasonable nutritional standard. These meals are also notoriously small. At 250 to 300 calories, they leave most adults hungry within an hour, which defeats the entire purpose of eating a proper meal. Registered dietitians consistently warn that many light frozen meals are calorie-controlled through tiny portions rather than actual nutritional design. They fill you with refined carbohydrates, spike your blood sugar, and leave you reaching for snacks by mid-afternoon. If you are choosing these bowls for health reasons, you deserve to know the math does not add up. And if healthy meals are built this way, the so-called simple meals get even worse. 10. Chicken and rice microwave trays. Chicken and rice sounds simple. It sounds safe. It is the kind of meal you would expect to be straightforward: grilled chicken, steamed rice, maybe some seasoning. But the frozen versions sold at grocery stores across America tell a completely different story. The chicken in many of these trays is not a whole cut that has been cooked and sliced. It is restructured meat, meaning smaller pieces of chicken that have been ground, mixed with binders, and pressed back together to resemble a breast or thigh. Sodium phosphate and modified food starch help hold the texture together while water is injected to add weight and juiciness. Stouffer's chicken fettuccine. Alfredo contains 540 calories and 940 milligrams of sodium in a single serving. The chicken is described as white meat, but arrives in a form that barely resembles anything you would cook at home. The flavor does not come from herbs or grilling, it comes from autolyzed yeast extract, natural flavors, and sodium-laden sauces designed in laboratories to trigger your taste receptors. Even the rice is often pre-cooked and treated with preservatives to maintain texture through freezing and reheating. What should be a 20-minute meal made from 2 ingredients has become a chemistry project with a paragraph-long ingredient list. These trays are built to survive months in a warehouse, travel across the country, and still look edible after 4 minutes in a microwave. But that engineering comes at the cost of real flavor and real nutrition. When your chicken and rice needs phosphates and gums to exist, something has gone seriously wrong. And when food companies want to hide processing completely, they wrap it in cream. 9. Cream-based ready meals, Alfredo mac and cheese creamy chicken bakes. These comfort food classics dominate frozen meal aisles because they tap into something primal. We crave richness, we crave texture, but what the frozen food industry delivers is a manufactured imitation built from cheap oils and industrial thickeners. Stauffer's macaroni and cheese contains 920 milligrams of sodium and 17 grams of fat per single cup serving. That creamy sauce you love is not made the way Grandma made it. It is a blend of soybean oil, modified food starch, and processed cheese solids held together by sodium phosphate and emulsifiers. The cheese flavor comes partially from real cheddar, but mostly from cheese powders and flavor enhancers designed to mimic richness without the cost of actual dairy. The Devour Sharp Cheddar mac and cheese with bacon has been called a calorie bomb by nutritionists. It packs over 1,000 milligrams of sodium, saturated fat levels that approach half your daily limit, and a combination of refined pasta and processed bacon that provides almost no fiber or nutritional value. These cream-based meals rely on what food scientists call mouthfeel engineering. They use xanthan gum, guar gum, and cellulose to create thickness. They use oils to simulate butteriness. And they use salt at levels that would make any home cook wince. The result tastes indulgent, but leaves your body processing a flood of sodium and saturated fat that your heart did not ask for. If you want comfort food, make it at home with real butter, real cheese, and actual portion awareness. Because these frozen versions are not comfort, they are cardiovascular stress in a microwavable tray. But the most aggressive flavor engineering happens when brands borrow global cuisine. 8. International-style frozen meals curry bowls, stir-fry trays, street taco kits. The international section of the frozen aisle promises global flavors from the comfort of your kitchen. But behind the colorful packaging and exotic branding lies a pattern of cheap bases, sugar-heavy sauces, and barely visible vegetables. The Banquet Mega Meats. Kung Pao chicken delivers 1,290 milligrams of sodium and 14 grams of sugar, matching what you would find in an original glazed Krispy Kreme donut. That sweetness is not authentic to the dish. It is added to mask the low quality of the ingredients and make the meal more addictive. Many of these international-style meals use the same base formula regardless of cuisine. Refined white rice or noodles form the foundation. A small amount of restructured meat or processed chicken sits on top. And the sauce, whether it is called teriyaki, tikka masala, or mole, is where most of the flavor and most of the problems hide. These sauces are loaded with high fructose corn syrup, modified starches, and flavor enhancers like disodium inosinate. The vegetable content in many of these trays is laughable. You might find a few snap peas in a stir-fry or scattered peppers in a fajita bowl, but the actual vegetable serving rarely reaches even a quarter cup. The rest is filler, carbohydrates, and sauce. This is not global cuisine. It is Americanized processing wearing a cultural costume. Real Thai food does not need 15 different additives. Real Indian curry does not rely on sugar to taste good. What you are buying is a simulation built for shelf stability, not authenticity. And now the industry takes aim at a very specific buyer. 7. High-protein ready meals. The fitness crowd has discovered frozen meals, and food companies have noticed. High-protein labels now cover trays marketed to gym-goers, dieters, and anyone looking to build muscle without cooking. But those bold protein numbers often hide a much uglier nutritional reality. The Hungry Man Selects boneless fried chicken contains 26 grams of protein, which sounds impressive until you see the rest of the label. It also packs nearly 2,000 milligrams of sodium, 25 grams of sugar, and multiple preservatives, including BHT and MSG. That protein is coming from breaded fried chicken, loaded with phosphates and flavor enhancers, not a clean, grilled breast. Many high-protein frozen meals achieve their numbers through processed cheese, low-quality meat fillers, and soy protein isolates rather than whole food sources. The Hungry Man Double Meat Bowls Breaded Chicken. Alfredo hits 2,140 milligrams of sodium in a single tray, representing 93% of your recommended daily intake. That is not fuel for muscle. That is a blood pressure crisis waiting to happen. Protein quality matters more than protein quantity. The bioavailability of nutrients from whole foods far exceeds what you get from restructured meat patties and cheese sauces. And when that protein comes packaged with a day's worth of sodium and saturated fat, the trade-off becomes dangerous. Fitness-focused eaters deserve to know that these meals are marketed on one number while hiding half a dozen others. If you are serious about health, you need protein that does not come with a side of preservatives and a sodium count that would make a cardiologist weep. And if this is what adults are being sold, wait until you see what is marketed to children. 6. Kids and family frozen meals. Kid Cuisine, Tyson Fun Nuggets, and the endless rows of dinosaur-shaped chicken pieces target the most vulnerable consumers in your household. These meals are designed to appeal to children, but the nutritional profile should concern every parent. The Kid Cuisine All-Star Chicken Nuggets meal has been classified as an unhealthy, ultra-processed food by the Environmental Working Group. It contains nearly 80% of the recommended daily sodium intake for children, textured soy flour, bleached wheat flour, and multiple phosphate additives all in a single tray. The nuggets themselves are made from chicken breast with rib meat, which sounds acceptable until you read further and find autolyzed yeast, extract, sodium phosphates, and modified cornstarch holding everything together. The side of mac and cheese adds processed cheese powder, soybean oil, and xanthan gum. Even the brownie included for dessert contains cornstarch and artificial flavoring. These meals are engineered for one thing: repeat consumption. The soft textures, mild flavors, and subtle sweetness create what food scientists call a bliss point, the perfect combination that keeps kids asking for more. But that engineering comes at the cost of developing healthy eating habits. Children who grow up on these products learn to expect hyper-processed flavors and reject the natural tastes of real vegetables and properly cooked protein. The sodium levels alone should be disqualifying. 90% of American children already consume too much salt, according to the CDC, and these meals are major contributors. And when kids' meals normalize this level of processing, dieting products take it even further. 5. Diet and low calorie meals. Portion controlled and marketed as slimming solutions, these meals promise weight loss through convenience. Smart Ones, Weight Watchers, and endless light versions fill freezer sections aimed at dieters. But the math behind these products often works against the very people buying them. Many diet frozen meals contain fewer than 300 calories, which is not nearly enough for a satisfying lunch or dinner. The Smart Ones Pasta Primavera provides just 250 calories, 1 gram of fiber, and 8 grams of protein. Within an hour of eating, most adults feel hungry again, reaching for snacks that undo whatever calorie savings the small meal provided. The low-calorie promise often comes through deceptive means. Water weight makes up a significant portion of many diet trays, meaning you are paying for liquid that evaporates during cooking. Artificial sweeteners replace sugar while sodium levels climb to compensate for reduced fat. Some diet meals pack over 600 milligrams of sodium into portions barely larger than a side dish. The fiber deficit is particularly concerning. Fiber creates satiety, the feeling of fullness that prevents overeating. But these meals regularly deliver just 1 or 2 grams, leaving your digestive system unsatisfied regardless of how many calories you consumed. Dietitians consistently warn that light frozen meals may help with short-term calorie counting but fail at creating lasting satisfaction or teaching proper portion awareness. If a meal leaves you hungrier than before you ate, it is not helping you lose weight. it is setting you up to fail. And if cutting calories doesn't fix the problem, removing meat doesn't either. 4. Plant-based. Ready meals. The plant-based revolution has reached the frozen aisle, promising meat-free meals that are better for your body and the planet. But many of these products swap animal protein for ultra-processed ingredients that create entirely new problems. Beyond Meat and Impossible products contain comparable levels of saturated fat to beef, while delivering significantly more sodium. A single Beyond Burger patty packs 390 milligrams of sodium before any seasoning or toppings. Plant-based frozen bowls often rely on isolated pea protein, refined coconut oil, and methyl cellulose to create meat-like textures rather than using whole food ingredients. A Harvard analysis found that the health benefits of legumes are blunted when those same legumes are processed into protein isolates and stripped of their natural fiber. Many frozen plant-based meals contain 20 or more ingredients, far exceeding what any home cook would use to make a vegetable stir-fry or bean curry. The Whole Foods CEO himself has called these products super highly processed, noting that being plant-based does not automatically mean healthy. Frozen veggie burgers, meatless crumbles, and plant-based chicken strips often contain more additives than their meat counterparts. The sodium levels in plant-based frozen meals regularly exceed 700 milligrams per serving. Modified starches, flavor systems, and emulsifiers fill ingredient lists, and the vegetable content that should define plant-based eating is often minimal, replaced by processed protein concentrates and refined oils. If you want to eat more plants, eat actual plants, not laboratory-engineered substitutes wearing a green health halo. And if frozen meals worry you, the refrigerated section should worry you more. 3. Chilled, heat, and eat meals. The refrigerated section feels different from the freezer aisle. Those clear containers of pasta, stir-fry kits, and fresh-looking meals seem like a step up from their frozen counterparts. But chilled, ready meals bring their own set of problems that consumers rarely consider. These products require preservatives to survive the journey from factory to store to your refrigerator without freezing. Sodium benzoate, potassium sorbate, and citric acid extend shelf life while sodium content climbs to prevent bacterial growth. Many chilled pasta meals contain over 1,000 milligrams of sodium, matching or exceeding their frozen competitors. The fresh label is largely marketing. These meals are still pre-cooked, still processed, and still designed for logistics rather than nutrition. The pasta has been cooked, cooled, and treated to maintain texture during storage. The sauces contain modified starches and stabilizers to prevent separation. The vegetables, when present, have been blanched and preserved to avoid browning. Portion sizes in chilled meals tend to be larger, which sounds like a benefit until you realize it means consuming more sodium, more preservatives, and more refined carbohydrates in a single sitting. A full container of refrigerated mac and cheese can easily exceed 1,500 milligrams of sodium and 40 grams of fat. The convenience factor is undeniable. These meals require less cooking time than frozen options and often taste slightly better due to the lack of freezer burn. But that convenience comes with a hidden cost. You are still eating highly processed food designed to survive supply chains, not to nourish your body. And if fresh is mostly marketing, premium is where the illusion peaks. 2. Premium black box meals. The expensive-looking trays with sophisticated packaging and restaurant-inspired names command premium prices in the freezer section. Devour, Boston Market Homestyle, and upscale Stuffers options promise quality worth the extra cost. But behind that sleek black box lies the same processed reality wearing fancier clothing. The Devour Buffalo Chicken Mac and Cheese contains over 1,700 milligrams of sodium, representing 116% of the recommended daily intake according to the Environmental Working Group. Despite costing twice as much as budget options, the ingredient list reveals soybean oil, modified, food starch, sodium phosphate, and natural flavors, the same additives found in dollar store dinners. Boston Market frozen meals market themselves as home-style cooking, yet the Country Fried Chicken and Gravy delivers 1,160 milligrams of sodium and multiple preservatives in a single tray. The Marie Callender's Meatloaf and Country Fried Chicken combo packs an astonishing 2,370 milligrams of sodium, exceeding the entire daily recommendation in one meal. Premium pricing buys better photography and thicker packaging, but it rarely buys better ingredients. The meat is still restructured or injected with solutions. The sauces still rely on stabilizers and flavor enhancers. The vegetables still arrive as token garnishes rather than nutritional foundations. Food manufacturers understand that consumers associate higher prices with higher quality. They exploit this assumption by dressing the same processed formula in upscale branding. You are paying for perception, not nutrition. Save your money or spend it on actual ingredients. And now, we arrive at the category that exposes the entire system. 1. Dollar range microwave meals. At the very bottom of the price ladder sit the cheapest ready meals in America. These 99-cent trays represent everything wrong with industrial food production distilled into a single serving of processed convenience. The Banquet Mega Bowl. Chicken fried steak contains over 1,700 milligrams of sodium, half a gram of trans fat, and enough preservatives to survive years on a warehouse shelf. Trans fats, which have been mostly banned in the U.S. due to their documented ability to increase bad cholesterol and contribute to heart disease, still appear in these ultra-budget products. Mechanically separated chicken forms the base of many dollar meals, meaning you are consuming a slurry of parts that could never be sold as recognizable cuts. The processing required to make this edible involves multiple sodium compounds, texture modifiers, and flavor systems designed to create the illusion of real food. These meals epitomize ultra-processed eating. Ingredient lists regularly exceed 30 items. Sodium content hits 70 to 90% of daily limits. Fiber content barely registers. And the calories consumed provide almost nothing in terms of vitamins, minerals, or genuine nutrition. The hidden cost of these budget meals extends far beyond your grocery receipt. Regular consumption contributes to hypertension, cardiovascular strain, and metabolic dysfunction. The money saved at checkout gets spent later on healthcare. When you see these rock-bottom prices, understand what you are really buying. A product engineered to be cheap, shelf-stable, and barely edible. Not a meal, not nutrition, just processed matter that happens to be technically food. Your body deserves better, and frankly, so does your wallet when you factor in the true long-term cost.